My name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to the June channel update. And we're back to the mixed bag. I'm really bummed. I was hoping that the positive upward trend of May was going to continue, but then the second day of the month, the second to last day of school, we had this giant blow up at work with a whole bunch of drama and emails being sent, and it took us like the entire day to get it taken care of, and we got the issue resolved. But that was how I started my summer break, and I've spent a lot of days being worried about how the job's going to look like when I get back. And I think it's bugging me the most that I can't do anything about it. Like, I can't go and ask the questions and go do the things that would make me feel more secure in my job because it's summer break. So that's slightly difficult, but I'm managing. In general, I always forget how much all this unstructured time affects my brain. Because even now, with like hours and hours of free time, I am spending a lot of my time just wandering the house, lost in thought. I have been looking into some psych evals and stuff for some possible other stuff I'm looking into, but it costs a lot of money, and it's a lot of paperwork, and it's a lot of waiting, and it's so much fun. And I also forget how much money is a factor in the summer. So I'm like, oh, I'll go, do the wisdom teeth removal thing. That's a lot of money, and these are our lean months. Forgot that. June in general, just in that way, was really iffy, and I had to start implementing a lot more scheduling, a lot more like literally by hour increments of my day. Do this, then do this, then do this, then do this, to make sure I didn't fall apart and just wander the hallway for an hour straight. But it is working for the most part, and I am subtly learning that when I am spiraling because of either my personal brain or all of the fun stuff happening in the country right now, I actually do need to talk to people, because my knee-jerk reaction is, no, I don't want to talk about it. Talking about it will make it real, and I'm just gonna focus. But then there was one day where I had already planned on both a coffee trip, like a little coffee friend date with a coworker, and a long game of basically in-character truth or dare on the Discord server. And I realized that after that day, I honestly felt better. Like the downward spiral was actually stopped by interacting with other humans. So probably should do that more. So I've incorporated that kind of, okay, maybe I should hop on a VC more. Maybe I should make more plans with friends in the area. Like, maybe I should go out and do a little bit more, because probably being stuck at home with my negative thoughts is not doing that much. Who'd have thought? But health-wise, you can hear I'm coming down with either a weird summer cold or allergies. I don't know. It took me a while to figure out it was that, because I thought it was just my body responding to anxiety until the congestion showed up, because that's never been an anxiety-related symptom for me. So, I don't know. The meds have been bothering me a little bit more lately, but for the most part, continued to hold the same as usual. We've been in this for years now. But let's move on. How did my reading go? My reading was great. I read 13 books, and granted, some of them were really short, Regency romances or graphic novels, but a couple of them were over 500 pages. According to the Whatever-a-thon tracker, I read over 4,000 pages over the month, and that is really good. I am proud of myself for that, including things like an audiobook that I had to clean my entire house to get through, and the really dark books. So I had tackled a lot of the books on my review list that were giving me pause. I still have a couple of those on the list yet, and I am considering the new challenge or goal for the month of July will likely be something to the effect of read only books that are 400 pages or more. And I'm calling it more of a goal than a challenge. That way I don't feel like a failure if I end up not doing that. But I did really enjoy the readathon. I learned a lot more about myself. Like, I learned that I don't like reading sprints. Like, I know it's a big thing. It's like, oh, feel connected to everyone else with the reading sprints. But I don't like having to stop in my reading based on a time someone else set, and then like sit and listen to two people talk and maybe like chat a little bit before going back to the reading. Like, if I'm talking, I'm talking. If I'm reading, I'm reading. I don't like switching suddenly between the two like you do with reading sprints. And I also found out that I actually don't want to create like the entire cozy vibe for myself, because that was one of the prompts on the bingo board, was like purposely make a cozy space for cozy reading time. And like I did it with like the pillows and the blankets and everything, and I felt trapped. Like I had to then sit in that space and read for a long period of time because I'd gone to all of the trouble of putting all of that together. And I was like, why did I do this? I put in more effort and then put in more pressure on myself for something that is supposed to be relaxing. So I probably won't be doing that for myself in the future. I'm also not really doing any other readathons moving forward, at least for a while. Usually it takes several months of not doing readathons for me to want to do another readathon again. So, you know, I'll be ready in time for either in December or reindeer readathon, whatever happens in that month this year. But I would really, really like to focus more on review books moving forward. I would really, really like to focus more on getting more booktube videos out, mostly because I have all of these ideas. Some of them are like more structured videos that I like have notes for, and I need to have like maybe not a strict script, but something more structured than just my rambling videos. And then I do have some rambling videos, and I just like, I gotta sit down, like I gotta get out of the haze and just sit down and do it. Maybe create like a here's what I want to do this week, and then break that down into smaller day schedules or something. I also do want to get more into interacting with people. Maybe I'll find some more bookish discords or something, but it has been kind of disheartening trying to do it in that space, only because even with all of the books that I had in common with other people over the whatever-a-thon, more often than not, there were books that I had no interest in reading or knew nothing about. And the few times I did try to like jump in on books other people were reading, I DNF'd. So it's always been a little disheartening when you're the super obnoxious hipster that wants to read almost only indie books that aren't already well known, or the weird sci-fi romance books. It can be a little bit disheartening to feel like the odd one out in spaces you're supposed to fit in. Granted, that could be an entire rambling video on how BookTube actually isn't as closely knit a community it thinks it is. But we're not going to get into that here. Regardless, I am going to continue focusing on review books like I always say I am. I'm also going to continue trying to finish series because there are a couple of those easy reading romance series. I am once again considering putting the TBR challenge to the side or doing another round of unhauling. I do have the for every 10 books I unhaul, I can get a new book facet of the challenge. However, I am also getting to the point where there's not that many more books I want to unhaul. So then I guess I gotta start reading them. You know, one or the other. And of course, the review books don't count in the TBR challenge, so it actually makes the TBR challenge take longer. It's a whole thing, but I definitely do think I can get my own TBR under 200 books by the end of the year. That is seeming more and more doable the more I go on with this. So I am really excited for that, to be able to say I got rid of like almost 200 books in 1 year off of my own TBR. That'll be really gratifying to do. But for right now, I'm going to keep making it work with this large amounts of unstructured time. We do have family visits and trips coming up, so hopefully that'll give a little bit more structure to my time, a little bit more maybe distractions for the downward spiral. So we're going to keep going. I am not as hopeful that we're going to be back on the upward trend at the end of July, but at this point, I can handle mixed bags. I can handle things, at least in one aspect of my life, going well, if the other half of it is not. But regardless, thank you so much for watching this. I know these aren't the most fun videos on my channel to watch, but it really means a lot to me that anyone actually cares how I'm doing. So, with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.